This video covers the basics of setting up your coursework. There'll be several sessions on this particular topic, but when you come into your class, you'll notice that you have, once you've set up your syllabus, you'll have some method by which you're going to grade. I'll use this particular one, which has 20% for discussion, 30 for participation, 40 for written assignments, and 10% for a final exam. Now, over in Coursework, when we click on that, we get a coursework page that looks something like this. Every course will have at least one instance of the coursework page, and we can see that there's not too much that's been set up at this point in time. The very first step you want to take is to click on Manage Units and Types. When I click on Manage Units and Types, I'll see that I am allowed to add units and add types. The types are the things that we said we're going to grade by, and units can be thought of as meetings. It could be classes. It could actually be chapters. I'm going to set this one up with the assumption that I'll have face-to-face meetings and class meetings. So I'm going to start by fixing my Unit 1, and I'll just call this a face-to-face 1. And assuming I'm going to meet several times with the students, I may choose to do it that way. And then essentially what you would have is, down in the description, you would put in what your objectives were. So I want to have introductions, overview of the program. I might tell them that we're going to have case studies. And we might have other activities, group, debates. So this would be the things that I plan to cover during that session. I might actually have an assignment, so I'd go read chapter 1 and 2 prior to class. So whatever I want to tell them to do. Now, this could be bulletized if you want to. My reading, I might make that little different color or something if I want to make it stand out. But basically, I could have a set way I do these things for setting up my class. So now I'm going to go to add a unit, and the units I'm going to add here are going to be like week 1, and I would pick a date range for my unit. So perhaps it's going to start on the 15th, and it's going to go to the 22nd. And during that week, I'm going to have objectives. Might have an activity. But essentially these are the things that will be covered. I normally put my reading assignments here. But not the other assignments. The reading assignments I put here because I'm not going to grade those. And I add that as a unit. And then I would make another unit here, say week 2. And again, I can put a date range in, so maybe week 2 goes from the 22nd to the 29th. and so on. And if I had, for instance, a final face-to-face, maybe I would call that my last one. And maybe that's the 28th to the 29th. So you can set all your units up like this. So you could have week 1, 2, 3, 4 through 14. You don't have to have separate ones for face-to-face unless you want to put all your activities for that particular class down. Then we come to the types. Out of the box, you get a whole set of types here. So we want to make these match what was in the syllabus. So we had a final exam. And I had written homework. So I want to do it exactly as it was listed. I don't have a lab report, so I have the little trash can and make that go away. I don't have a paper. I told them we had a participation grade. I don't have a quiz. If I left reading in here, which I could, that would be okay. I'm going to eliminate a test. I need to add one more called discussion forum. So when I put my assignments in, they're going to all fall into one of these types. And typically, if I leave reading in here, and I don't normally do that, but if I left reading in here, I would give it a weight of 0, so I wouldn't give any credit for it. And so now we're ready to go back to our main screen. So within the main screen now, you can see that I have my face-to-face meetings, and this begins to look like part 2 of our syllabus. So here's the things we're going to do during that day. I have an assignment to read chapters 1 and 2 prior to class. I don't have any assignments yet. I'll put one assignment here, and then that'll be the end of this session. But I'll make an assignment, for instance, for this first one. And when we get into assignments, and that'll be the topic for the next video, I see that I have basic, file, upload, and online. I'll discuss those more next time. But I'm going to choose basic here. And I could say this is my P1 participation grade. It just gives me a place to put the grade in. It happens during the face-to-face. It's required. It could be optional or extra credit. It's not discussion forum. It's a participation. So these are the types here that you just set up. If you needed to add an extra type, you could just click the plus green and add it right there. I could also add a unit by using the plus along with unit. And the due date. The due date would be the first meeting, whenever that happened to occur. I can put down any time I want. I'll just pick 5 o'clock p.m. If I'm using a course calendar, I could check that off. Many of us do not. And then you decide when you want to show it. I always show these assignments to the students right up front so they don't tell me there's a surprise. Now, grading. Grading can be on the basis of any number of points you want to make it on. You can make it binary. You can make it so I have credit, no credit. I could say that it's graded. If I do it on the basis of 25 points, then 1 point off cost them 4%. If I do it on the basis of 20 points, that's each point is 5%. Then basically, when you come down here, you can go into this optional section. If there was something they're supposed to do with the title of a book, you could use that. But usually, on these face-to-face or participation grades, it doesn't take a lot of instructions. If I needed instructions, I could click there and type my instructions. But save the assignment. When I come back, I see that face-to-face 1 has a number of activities, 1 reading, and it's going to have a grade for participation. And that ends this session. The next one will cover how to set up assignments.